Good morning, friends at Salem Lutheran. Good to have you with us on our weekly message. Not too far, we have Christ the King Sunday coming up. Marilyn Breckenridge will be here. She was our past interim. Many of you remember her. She will be preaching and leading the service this week. So please welcome Marilyn with open arms, as I know you will. We've got lots of worship opportunities coming up. Thanksgiving Eve, Christmas Eve, both 7 p.m. Services. Hope to join me there at that time. We have our Bible study that continues on Wednesdays. We will meet this Wednesday, take a break for Thanksgiving, and then meet again in December until Christmas. So hope you can join me then at 10 a.m. We look at the texts for the Sundays, sometimes before, sometimes after, depending on what's going on. So please join us. Also on Wednesday evening, if you're watching this on Wednesday, that is today, come join us at St. Stephen's at 6 o'clock for packing our Ziploc packages of love. And we'd love to have you join. You don't have to come the whole time, just come part of the time. Just come be with some of your young families at Salem. Look forward to seeing you there. Speaking of young families, we're going to try to put together a very simple Christmas program on this the 12th of December, and hope you can join us then. That will be replacing the lessons and the creed. That will be the story of Jesus as told by our young people. We continue with our conflict resolution sessions. We have one more left on December 13th, 7:15. If you'd like to join us, you do not have to have attended the other ones. There's always new stuff to pick up and learn. We will be continuing on with those who have been there the first two sessions with more stuff, but there's plenty of stuff to learn in conflict resolution. It's been an interesting journey. I've been using Marshall Rosenberg, and you can pick his stuff up either online with videos, or we're using one of his books. So be glad that you would join us for that time. Other announcements that we have going on. Neighbors has several different things going on. I don't know if you can hear the noise in the background here. They are blowing leaves in my backyard, and so it's a little, I hope that doesn't disturb the message here today. Moreland Elementary collecting coats. We got the adoptive family, the giving tree that's sitting in the narthex area. Take an ornament. More descriptions on what you need to do in the email blast. We also have the food drive going on for neighbors. They got a lot of things going on. Every once in a while I forget to add announcements or miss something. So please look at your email blast, look at the website. It's all on there. Nothing is missed there. Thank you for all of you who have sent in your pledge cards. We appreciate that. We still have time to collect them, so if you have your pledge card and you've just forgotten to drop it off, bring it to church on Sunday, mail it. We'll make sure that it gets added to the pledges. That helps us budget for the coming year. And then lastly, look in your mail for a letter coming from your council. The first week in December, we're going to have some special meetings, and the times and explanations, dates will be in that letter. Just give you a heads up, so when you see that thing come from Salem, make sure you open it and take a look. There's some very important information in there. So that's our announcements. This week, of course, Marilyn's going to be preaching on Christ the King. But next week, the following week, is the first Sunday in Advent. Usually comes after our Thanksgiving holiday, and we do the 3-year lectionary here at Salem. What that means is we follow the 3 synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and we intersperse John all throughout, especially on the Mark year, because there's not as many gospel readings from Mark. So the A reading is the Matthew reading, the B reading is the Mark reading, and the C reading is the Luke reading. That's the way they're designated. So if you open up a hymnal, you can actually see those designations in the prayers and propers of the church. Each gospel has its emphasis. We have been running around Mark here the last year. Mark is that gospel that is the first one written. It's also the shortest gospel, and it's written in the way you would expect the Old Testament to be written, the Hebrew way. And what I mean by that is everything is and. This happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. Now, in English, when they translate it, they like to put in nice little conjunctions like while, where, furthermore, things that connect the sentences a little better grammatically. But if you look at the Greek in its pure form, you just see that something happens, and something happens, and something happens, and then this happens. And so that is the typical way of writing. Now, Luke, we are going to begin this Advent season, has an entirely different way of writing. Luke writes in the language of Greek mythology. There are a lot of dreams and visions and speeches, quite eloquently written, actually, probably the best Greek of the Gospels. And right off the bat, we find in that wonderful Christmas story, we find angels giving speeches, and we have visions. Joseph has a vision. Mary is visited by an angel, and she has a dream. And all this language kind of sets us up for what kind of gospel Luke is going to be. Luke is the only gospel that's written for a particular person. We don't find that in the other gospels. He introduces it to Theophilus and is writing to Theophilus, and it's actually written in 2 volumes. Luke and Acts are basically the same story, written by the same author, connected through this person of Theophilus. That's how we know. He begins both of those writings with Theophilus's name. And Luke has a different focus than Matthew and Mark, as the focus becomes more about social justice, a theme of judgment of oppressors, and heavy on the morals and values. Even when Luke presents the Beatitudes, the blessings, he does it on a level plane, not on the mountain as done in Matthew. Matthew and Luke are the only 2 that include the Sermon on the Mount or the Sermon on the Plain, depending which gospel you're reading. We seem to be more familiar with the Mount version, but Luke's version is very important because he makes it very personal. Blessed are you, as opposed to just a generic blessed. He also has the warnings. And so we have a different perspective on Luke's gospel. Luke is written with some of those beautifully familiar stories that we don't find in the other gospel. Our Christmas story is based almost entirely on Luke's gospel. Matthew does have some instances. Mark has nothing about the Christmas story. John begins with the beginning is the Word, and the Word is with God. So none of them have those beautiful stories of Mary and Joseph as does Luke. He moves too to stories like the prodigal son, the Good Samaritan story, the rich man and Lazarus parable, which again is that judgment and that heavy on the morals and values and the oppressed and the oppressors. These stories are unique to Luke, and so you won't find them in our other gospels. The other part about Luke is he is concerned with divine necessity. That means everything that happens for a reason and a plan that is foundational in the Old Testament. In fact, it's so foundational that at one point in Luke, he says that Jesus fulfills the Psalms, the prophets, and Moses, the trifecta of the Old Testament dogma and theology. So we begin a new journey with Luke. I hope you enjoy this journey. Join with me. If you want to get ahead and know what's coming, you can always read forward. Now, of course, with Advent, we will not begin at the beginning of Luke. We will instead begin with some of those prophetic words, looking at the last time, similar to what we did in Mark last week. Also, those things about what is coming. We'll hear some of those stories about like the bridegroom coming and the bridesmaids waiting for him. And so that will be the theme through Advent. And then once the story picks up in January, it'll go pretty much chronologically. So join us for this journey through Luke. It's a fascinating book, one of my favorite Gospels, and I hope you'll enjoy this journey. So be still, know that the Lord is God. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll look forward to seeing you a week from Sunday.